All right, I will call this meeting to order at 11:12 a.m. Okay, we are going to start with our land acknowledgement from Bertha, whenever you're ready.
Okay, before we get started with our meeting, I would like to read our land acknowledgement statement. Associated Students Incorporation at Sacramento State would like to take a moment to give honor and respect to the ancestors and to the diverse indigenous people connected to this territory on which we meet. The original stewards of this land belong to the Nisenan, Pakwin, and Miwok Native Americans. Keep them in your mind, carry them in your heart, and we ask that you take a moment to consider your ancestors and your relationships to the land we are on. Thank you.
Okay, and now Natalie, if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please stand up.
Okay, everyone's looking around. So the flag normally would be over in this corner. However, since it's not, we need to face where the flag is on campus.
Oh, okay.
So the nearest flag on campus to us, I only know this because I'm a veteran, I'm sorry, is going to be outside the student union in the front, correct?
Yes.
Yes, so we're going that way.
I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and Natalie, do we have a moment of silence?
Yes, we do. So on June 17th, 2023, we unfortunately lost one of our fellow students. His name was Anthony Finelli. He was coming into the National Cybersecurity Teaching academic program in the College of Education. So if we can take a moment of silence for our fellow student. Thank you.
Okay, and Lisa, if we can get roll call.
I can just remind you to speak up loudly when I call your name, please, so that it can be recorded on the camera. Andrade Dominguez.
Present.
Bolas.
Here.
Berea.
Here.
Tong.
Here.
Vega.
Here.
Hernandez Hunter.
Present.
Torres.
Here.
Jaber.
Present.
Jimenez.
Here.
Ambala.
Here.
Hussein. Hebert.
Present.
Curry. Gallardo.
Here.
Montavo.
Here.
Jackson. Gill. Maswood.
Here.
Dunning.
Here,
Dalton. Rocha.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we will move on to public comment. Members of the audience may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board or on any agenda item. If you wish to address the board, please sign the speaker identification sheet. When you are called upon to speak, step forward to the podium and state your name and major clearly for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and the overall time is 15 minutes. Those wishing to speak on non-agenda items will be called upon at the beginning of the meeting. Those wishing to speak for or against an agenda item will be called upon after the item has been officially introduced to the board. Every agenda item will be open for public comment before the board takes formal action on the item. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move over to consent calendar. Are there any items that need to be moved over to consent calendar? Alec.
I'd like to move 2023-24-0805 Tong Andrade Dominguez University Committee appointments and 2023-24-0806 Tong Andrade Dominguez recommendation to the President for University Committee appointments to the consent calendar.
Are there any students that are being appointed to these items?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other items that need to be added to the consent calendar?
Yes.
Bertha?
I would like to move 2023-24-0808, the Faculty Senate Committee appointments.
Okay. And And there are students that need to be appointed, that are being appointed on this item as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any other items? No? Okay. If there are no objections, we will adopt the consent calendar. Okay, the consent calendar is adopted. Moving over to our new business, first we have 2023-24-0801, Andrade Dominguez, appointment of the Director of Education. Natalie?
I move to approve 2023-24-0801, Andrade Dominguez, appointment of Director of Education.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Natalie?
So like discussed in our working board meeting, we had a vacant position for the Director of Education, meaning that nobody ran for the position back in our spring elections. So what would happen is that application opens up during the summer, and when the application opened up, we had 0 students apply at first. So then we send out a SAC send to all the students in the College of Education, and we received 4 eligible applicants by the priority deadline, and we set up applicants by the week of 7/17. One applicant ended up withdrawing their application, being unable to attend, so we had 3 eligible candidates. The search committee consisted of myself, Lisa Dalton, and our VP of University Affairs, Alec Tong. We used a matrix rubric to grade each candidate, as well as use the same interview questions for each candidate. And then once we convened with all of our interviews, we scored our matrix and the rubrics, and essentially came to the recommendation of recommending Sarai Aguirre to be the next Director of Education. So if the chair allows, if Sarai can come up and give us her reason why she'd love to be the next director.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for stand right here for the opportunity. My name is Sarai Aguirre. I'm currently a graduate student pursuing a master's degree in higher education leadership and policy studies. I did complete my BA in sociology back in 2021, December 2021. I began my undergraduate degree here at Sac State in fall 2018. And that first year, I was a part of the College Assistance Migrant Program, also known as CAMP, who were instrumental to my success that year. They connected me to a lot of resources, opportunities, made me feel a sense of belonging, and really create a space for us to feel safe on campus. Through that program, I became aware of ASI. I also was encouraged and assisted with the application process for several student positions on campus, such as the Cerna Center, the Educational Opportunity Program, EOP, as well as CAMP, who I currently have the pleasure to work with. As a student, I was fairly involved on campus with ASI, including the food pantry, which I came to on a weekly basis, as well as the scholarship opportunities that we do have. And then I was also a part of the ASI Faculty Senate Committee, as well as the Great Appeal Panel. And I also participated in the 2020 election ambassador, as well as the census. Outside of ASI, I've been fairly involved with Feria de Educación, which is an event that happens here every October, as well as CLRC, the Chicana Latinx Recognition Ceremony, which I am very fond of. That's a little bit about who I am and what I've done, but I am very, very passionate about higher education. It's extremely changed my life, and I know that it can do so for other students as well. And knowing part of the legislation that we'll be talking if sworn in, I know that a lot of students will be impacted, and so educating them is something that I want to do here if given the opportunity. The Cerna Center really engraved in me the importance and the impact of self-advocacy and the importance of them knowing what is coming to them. So my goal here is to ultimately share that with students, as well as welcome them and collaborate with all of you to make this campus a better campus and enhance their student experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, we will move to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-0801, Andrade Dominguez, appointment of the Director of Education, please raise your hand. please raise it higher. All right, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, the item passes unanimously. Okay. And we will do the swearing in once all three candidates are appointed, if all three candidates are appointed. Okay, moving over to the next item, 2023-24-0802, Andrade Dominguez, appointment of the Director of Health and Human Services. Is there is there a motion? Natalie.
I move to approve 2023-24-0802 Andrade Dominguez appointment of Director of Health and Human Services.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Natalie.
So like mentioned in working board, nobody ran for the elections in our spring elections for the director of, which one am I on? HHS. So we received 6 eligible applicants when the application opened up before the priority deadline. I essentially used a rubric to score all the applicants and decided who would be our top candidates to interview. The same matrix was used to assess the applicants, and we used the same interview questions for all 3 committees. This committee consisted of myself, the executive director designee, which was Emily Rocha, Hashem, and who is our director of ECS, and Veronica Bolas, who is our executive vice president. We set up the interviews and conducted all interviews on Zoom. And then we interviewed all candidates, and essentially after we each had the opportunity to grade our rubrics and came to the recommendation of Rosa Colin Vasquez. Unfortunately, she was not able to make it here today due to an extreme family emergency. So if anybody has any questions that arise after working board about Rosa, please feel free to ask myself or any of the committee members, as she's not here, and we'd love to advocate on her behalf of why we're recommending her to the board.
All right. Is there any questions or discussions? Okay, seeing none, we will move to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-0802 Andrade Dominguez, appointment of the Director of Health and Human Services, please raise your hands. All right, you can put your hands down. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, seeing none, the item passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to the next item, 2023-24-0803, Andrade Dominguez, appointment of the Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Is there a motion, Natalie?
I move to approve 2023-24-0803 Dominguez appointment of Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics.
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Sorry, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Natalie?
Same process as the 2 before. Nobody applied for nobody ran for the Director of NSM. Application opened up and we received 3 eligible applications by the priority deadline. Since there was only 3, we interviewed all 3 candidates. The search committee consisted of myself, our executive director, Sandra, and Sachi, our vice president of finance. And these meetings were held in person. We used the same interview questions and the same rubric to grade each applicant. After all of our interviews concluded, we discussed who we like to recommend to the board, and we all came to the recommendation of recommending Zanab. Yes. Okay, Zanab to the board of directors today. So if the chair allows her to come up and speak to us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Zanab Gunny. I'm coming into my 4th year here at Sac State. I'm a biology major with a concentration in biomed, and I am on a pre-med track. I'm a first-generation student, and I was born and raised in the Sacramento area, so I've been here my entire life. I am currently the Director of Public Relations for the Minority Association of Pre-Medical Students, or MAPS. And for those of you who aren't familiar with MAPS, our goal is to increase minority matriculation into medical school. And this advocacy for minorities is something I plan to carry into my role, hopefully, as Director of NSM. I think that's incredibly pertinent to the community that we're in, especially as Sac State is located in a community that's historically underserved. Many of our students that come here are also historically underserved and have faced various obstacles in their life, like financial insecurity and housing insecurity. I plan to always keep that in mind as Director of NSM. I first became involved within my college last semester when I was tabling for MAPS at NSM Fest, and it was there that I noticed that there's a strong disconnect between students and resources, and I plan to be that bridge for the students within my college and college-wide. We tend to have these tabling events at the beginning of the semester when students are very busy. They have a lot of other things on their mind, and they tend to forget. So I plan to be consistent and advocate for these resources through various avenues like social media. Social media is an incredible tool. That's where a lot of students get information about various things that are happening on campus, so I definitely plan to utilize that. Through my previous leadership roles, I've gained excellent time management skills, excellent communication skills, and just being a leader in general. I really like to hear what everyone has to say before making a decision, especially those that have faced obstacles. We haven't all come from an even playing field. I plan to carry that into my role as Director of NSM. As Natalie and other board members stated before, I didn't come into this position on a whim. I really did my research. I tried to use every avenue that I had to educate myself on what my responsibilities would be so that I can ensure that I will be able to fulfill those responsibilities. I think something a lot of pre-med students like myself struggle with is becoming involved in more things that we can handle in order to look good in front of an admissions panel. And that's something I really try to steer myself away from. I really value the principle of quality over quantity and only becoming involved in things that I can give 100% of my energy to so that I can maintain my integrity and always be genuine in what I'm in pursuit of. Again, I've read the bylaws, I've read the operating rules, I know what this position entails. I know it requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy, and that's exactly why I'm here, because I know I can do more for Sac State, and I hope you all will allow me the opportunity to do that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or discussions? Okay, seeing none, we will go to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-0803, Andrade Dominguez, appointment of the Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, please raise your hand. Okay, you can put your hands down. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right. The item passes unanimously. Okay, and you guys can go ahead and stand so we can go ahead and do the oath of office for you and swear you in.
This is your last chance to step out. After this, you're in. Hand the camera, yeah. Okay, so I'll hold it up so you guys can read. Repeat after me. As a duly elected director.
As a duly elected director.
Oh, I'm sorry, raise your right hand. As a duly elected director.
As a duly elected director.
Of the Associated Students Incorporated.
Of the Associated Students Incorporated.
Of California State University, Sacramento.
Of California State University, Sacramento.
I swear that I will faithfully fulfill the duties.
I swear that I will faithfully fulfill the duties.
Of my office as provided in the Associated Students Incorporated bylaws.
As provided Associated Students as provided in the Associated Students Incorporated bylaws
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. These are yours.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, moving on to the next item. We have 2023-24-0804, Berea, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, Financial Committee appointments. Is there a motion? Sachi?
I move to approve 2023-24-0804 Bareya Tong and Andrade Dominguez Financial Committee appointments.
I second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Sachi?
Yes, in my role, I'm responsible for appointing students for financial committee appointments, which covers the audit committee. I'm appointing 4 students at large, and I'll be also serving as a non-voting board member. I'm also chairing finance and budget committee, where I'm appointing Veronica and Tinkle as the board members, and appointing students at large for finance and budget committee too. And moving forward to the scholarship committee, ASI scholarship committee, I'm appointing myself as a chair and appointing student. I'm also looking for few students to serve on the committee, so if you know anyone, please send them on my way. And I also need 1 board member to serve as per the op role.
Okay, any other discussions or questions?
Sorry.
Sorry.
If we're interested in being part of the committee, do we go to you right now or after the?
Sachi?
Yes. After this.
After. All right, any other questions or discussions? Okay, seeing none, we will go over to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-0804 Berea, Tong, Andrade Dominguez Financial Committee appointments, please raise your hands. Okay. All right, all those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, seeing none, the item passes unanimously. All right, moving to our next item, 2023-24-0807, Boas, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, internal committee appointments.
It's not yours, you go to the next person. It is yours, but someone else needs to make the motion for you, or you need to land in the chair.
Is there a motion? Natalie?
I move to approve 2023-24-0807 Bolas, Tong, Andrade Dominguez internal committee appointments.
I second.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Well, you're not supposed to, because you're the chair. If you want to, then you need to give up the chair for this two, or you can.
Natalie?
So essentially, just repeat what Veronica stated earlier. So for internal committee appointments, it's all the ASI internal committees that we have with ASI. So as you see listed, we are appointing a lot of you to the internal committees that you are required to sit on. And then some of you are being the designee for some of Veronica's responsible internal committees. And then make sure that you have all been appointed to your one internal committee, and if you are a chair of any of the committees here, that you are giving the students that you find to be on your committee to Veronica so she can put them on the legislation to be voted on for our next upcoming meetings.
All right, any other questions or discussions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-0807 Boas, Tong, Andrade Dominguez internal committee appointments, please raise your hands. Okay, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. Okay, seeing none, the item passes unanimously. Okay, moving over to our next one, 2023-24-0809, Andrade Dominguez, Boas, resolution in opposition of multi-year tuition proposal. Is there a motion? Natalie.
I move to approve 2023-24-0809 Andrade Dominguez Bolis resolution in opposition of multi-year tuition proposal.
Second. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Natalie.
So like mentioned in working board, I want to give a little bit of background for our constituents who might be watching after this is posted. So a tuition increase has been proposed by the Board of Trustees. Essentially, the Board of Trustees is the governing board that can dictate any changes that happen to the CSU, which is all 23 campuses that are under the CSU system. So last May, they had proposed in their financial committee, their subcommittee, to have a tuition increase, a 6% tuition increase for all levels of education within the entire CSU system with no end date. So essentially, they have proposed that this will go into effect the next academic year, so 2024-25. And there is no cap date. So it will continue to increase by 6% every academic year. They have essentially stated that the tuition is needed because they need more funding to operate our CSUs. And we don't agree. We need funding to run our universities. It is essential for our universities to have enough money to be funded. But what we essentially didn't agree with under the California State Student Association, where all the ASI presidents from all CSU campuses got together and met with some of the Board of Trustees and asked questions about the proposal that was given to us. And this proposal can be accessed on the CSU Board of Trustees website. And I also sent it to all of you of essentially how vague the proposal was and wasn't giving much detail of where the money will be allocated, and if they've done any other efforts to get more funding. So I'm going to read out the resolution and then we can go from there. Okay, so whereas Associated Students Incorporated at California State University, Sacramento, ASUS, is the sole representative voice of more than 31,000 students at Sacramento State. And whereas it is a duty and focus of ASUS to represent and support our students and advocate for policies that would benefit the student body. And whereas California State University CSU system is made up of 23 campuses across the state of California, serving nearly 500,000 students each year. And whereas the CSU system is the largest and most diverse four-year university ethnically, economically, and academically in the United States, with almost half of the CSU students being underrepresented minorities, and 21 of the 23 campuses are Hispanic-serving institutions. And whereas the CSU system promotes itself as a high-value education at an affordable cost, with more than half of students graduating with zero debt. And whereas today, the CSU's undergraduate tuition rate is $5,742 per year and is one of the lowest in the country. And whereas in May of 2023, the CSU Board of Trustees proposed a 6% multi-year tuition increase plan with no termination date. And whereas the tuition proposal states tuition will raise by $342 for each academic year for full-time undergraduate students and all levels of education. And whereas about 40% of all enrolled undergraduate students do not have their tuition covered through grants, scholarships, or waivers, therefore will be the most impacted by the 6% tuition increase. And whereas financial aid does not guarantee an adjustment of federal grants to match the increase in tuition. In addition, the tuition in 2028-2029 will surpass the amount of federal Pell Grant offered. Therefore, the percentage of students affected will eventually increase. And whereas this could significantly drop enrollment rates of marginalized groups, transfer students, and especially African American students, as less than 5% of Black students are enrolled in the CSU. And transfer students make up almost half of CSU students. And whereas 17 of the 23 CSU campuses saw significant enrollment drops since 2019, and the CSU has marked significant drops of transfer students. And whereas since the enrollment rates have dropped, raising tuition will continue to drop enrollment rates and does not align with the CSU's mission to provide affordable education for all students. And whereas the new tuition revenue and operating revenue will generate $7.7 billion of operating fund revenue, and 75% of expenditures are committed to salaries and benefits of faculty and staff. And whereas only 10% of revenue will be reinvested into CSU financial aid and fails to cover basic needs, housing, and mental health resources. And whereas the CSU Student Basic Needs and Mental Health Initiatives Report released in March of 2023 states that the CSU recognizes housing, food, and mental supports are critical for student success, as approximately 45% of CSU students have reported they experience some level of food or housing insecurity, as students are still impacted of the pandemic, inflation, and high cost of living throughout California. And whereas according to the Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Services, Steven Salcido, the leading causes for student dropout rates at Sacramento State are mental health reasons and financial instability due to lack of financial aid. And whereas the proposal lacks measurable outcomes, a clear termination date, and fails to articulate plans for generating other revenue sources and lobbying for more state funds. And whereas the CSU Board of Trustees will vote in September to finalize the increased proposal and will go into effect 2024-2025 academic year. And whereas this proposal tuition increase does not serve the best interest of students, and therefore let it be resolved, ASUS calls on the CSU Board of Trustees to provide a more detailed proposal outlining the distribution of the revenue acquired from the 6% tuition increase. And be it resolved, ASUS calls on the Board of Trustees to recognize and address the impact the tuition increase will have on marginalized communities in the CSU system. And be it resolved, ASUS urges the CSU Board of Trustees to address the rising mental health and basic needs crisis among the student populations and outline a plan for this to be addressed in the proposal. And be it resolved, ASUS implores on the CSU Board of Trustees to provide additional resources for students that will be unable to endure the tuition increase. And be it resolved, ASUS urges the CSU Board of Trustees to reinvest in the revenue acquired from the tuition increase into student success programs and initiatives. And be it finally resolved that this resolution be distributed to Sacramento State President J. Luke Wood, Interim Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost Carlos Nevares, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs Jenny Murphy, Vice President of Inclusive Excellence and University Diversity Officer Mia Settles Tidwell, Executive Director in University Initiatives and Student Success James Dragna, Senior Associate Vice President in Public Affairs and Advocacy Rita Gallardo Good, Faculty Senate Chair Adam Rex, and California State Student Association President Dominic Tressler, and all remaining 22 Associate Student Presidents, and California State University Chancellor-elect Mildred Garcia.
All right, are there any questions or discussions? Okay, seeing none, we will move to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-0809, Andrade Dominguez Bolis, resolution in opposition of multi-year tuition proposal, please raise your hands. Okay, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. Okay, seeing none, the item passes unanimously. Okay, moving over to our next item, 2023-24-0810, Baria, Andrade Dominguez, Bolis, resolution in support of the retirement of Lisa Dalton.
I second. Oh.
Is there a motion? Sachi.
I move to approve 2023-24-0810, Baria Andrade Dominguez Bolis, resolution in support of Lisa Dalton retirement from Executive and Board Associate.
I second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Sachi.
So, as we already talked about during the working board that Lisa is retiring soon, so me, Natalie, and Veronica wrote few words for Lisa, and I know Lisa loves me, but you will love me more after hearing this. It's already loud. Hold on tight. Whereas Associated Students Incorporation at Sacramento State, ASCS-US, is the sole representative voice of more than 29,000 students at Sacramento State. And whereas ASCS-US recognizes the Executive and Board Associate of Associated Students Incorporation, ASI, Lisa Dalton retirement after 10 years of exceptional service and dedication to the students, staff, and volunteers at Sacramento State University. And whereas Lisa Dalton began her college career at San Diego State University and achieved her Business Administration in Finance in the year 1986, and whereas Lisa has made several contributions while playing a key role in the administration of the ASI student government's operations, ensuring the smooth and efficient running of the student government office, and coordinating events and meetings for the organization. And whereas Lisa has worked with 140 elected and appointed board members during her time with ASI. And whereas Lisa is highly dependable, cheerful, and kind, she will respond to all queries without ever saying, "I don't know." And whereas Lisa started collecting Hello Kitty items at the age of 18. And whereas Lisa has been a post-crosser for 11 years and has sent and received over 5,000 postcards across the world. And whereas Lisa likes to show off her dance moves, Hello Kitty collection, and her office's monthly postcard theme. And whereas Lisa follows the rules like true a gold personality that she is, and she really lives up to the name. And whereas Lisa Dalton is retiring on August 18th, 2023, and whereas Associated Vice President Financial Services Gina Curry states, Lisa finds out and remembers everyone's birthday. It's amazing how she surprised me each year with a happy birthday message. I'm always shocked that she remembers. And whereas Executive Director of ASCS US, Sandra Gallardo states, it has been an honor to work side by side with Lisa to support the ASI Board of Directors. Lisa seems to always know everything and everyone on campus. I know she has made a tremendous difference in the lives of hundreds through her patient and thoughtful guidance and mentoring of students. I will deeply miss Lisa Dalton and her wealth of knowledge and can-do attitude to make magic happen. Thank you, Lisa. You have helped Sacramento State students flourish. And whereas Director of Finance and Business Administration of ASCS US, Mark Montalvo states, a 10-hour workday has become the norm for Lisa, and 8 hours does not exist in her daily operations. Lisa enjoys sending postcards anywhere in the world, and I hope someday she will splurge on a .51 cent stamp and send me a couple. I would actually drive to her house and pick mine up. And whereas Administrative Assistant Emily Rucha states, I have learned a lot from Lisa Dalton during my time at ASI. I have learned that she is completely dedicated to ASI, Hello Kitty, sustainability, and writing postcards. I'm convinced that she has single-handedly kept the postal office in business with her never-ending stream of postcards. And whereas ASCS US President Natalie Andrade Dominguez states, Lisa, the backbone of ASI. Lisa deserves an endless amount of recognition and celebration, as it marks the culmination of your dedicated years of service and commitment to our organization. Throughout your time with ASI, you have consistently demonstrated exceptional work ethic, invaluable expertise on everything ASI, and unwavering dedication to ASI. Your contributions have greatly impacted our team and the company as a whole for the last 10 years, and we are incredibly grateful for your hard work and unwavering commitment. Your presence has brought joy, camaraderie, and a sense of unity to our workplace. Your willingness to support and mentor us has left an indelible mark on our team's culture and helped shape the careers of many. We will miss you, and congratulations on your next chapter of life, Grandma Lisa. And whereas ASCS US Executive Vice President Veronica Bullis states, I have honestly never met someone more organized and dependable than Lisa. I'm both impressed and completely jealous of her ability to remember everything happening on every part of this campus at all times. I'm glad that I had the privilege to work with Lisa in her last year with ASI, and I'm excited for her to go on to have the restful, Hello Kitty filled and soda/coffee free retirement that she deserves. There is so much more I can say about Lisa, but I will leave it at this. She was one of the pillars keeping us standing, and she will always be a key element of my ASI memories. And whereas ASCS US Vice President of Finance, myself, Sachi Baria, states, I am incredibly grateful to have Lisa as my mentor. Her guidance and teachings have shaped our values and perspectives. But beyond being a mentor, she has become a cherished friend, someone with whom I share a deep connection. Her post-crossing and comparing her Hello Kitty with my unicorn have created a unique bond between us. Lisa goes above and beyond to ensure that everything is taken care of and done to the best of her abilities. Working with her has always been a wholesome experience, and her tomato soup will hold a special place in my heart just like she does. And therefore, let it be resolved that Lisa Dalton is loved, leaves a remarkable mark on ASI after 10 years of dedication and commitment. And be it resolved that ASCS US recognizes Lisa Dalton through her unwavering work ethic and unwavering pursuit of excellence as the Executive and Board Associate. And be it resolved, we acknowledge all the outstanding work that she has accomplished at Sacramento State. And be it resolved, during her retirement, she will be a full-time grandma and continue to eat ice cream on Saturdays only. And be it resolved that ASCS US hereby presents this resolution to Lisa Dalton as a token of appreciation for her patient and tremendous work towards students, ASCS US staff, and faculty. And be it resolved that this resolution
And be it resolved that this resolution be distributed to Sacramento State President. You gave me all the names, really? I'm going to mess every single one of these up. Sacramento State President Dr. Luke J. Wood, Interim Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost Carlos Navarez, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs Jenny Murphy, Vice President of Administration and Business Affairs, Chief Financial Officer Jonathan Bowman, Associate Vice President for Financial Services Gina Curry, Assistant Dean and Student Conduct Director Tom Carroll, Executive Director, Associated Students, Inc., Sandra Gallardo, Director, ASI Finance and Administration, Mark Montalvo, Director, Sacramento State Aquatic Center, Brian Dolger, Director, ASI Children's Center, Sherry Velty, okay. Director, ASI Peak Adventures, Valerie Regner, Director, ASI Student Engagement and Outreach, Will Chen, Director, Human Resources, Myra Makelum, Manager, Information Technology, Gerald Tubbo.
Okay. Is there any discussion or questions on this item? Passion.
Is it possible to oppose the retirement of people?
Sandra.
I wish. No, I'm a huge crybaby, so I'll keep this short. I've said it when I said it. Lisa knows. I'm gonna miss you.
Any other discussion? Lisa.
Thank you so much for all your heartfelt thoughts and support, and for giving me the privilege of working with each of you each day, even when I make fun of you or make fun of your dance moves or have to explain my Hello Kitty collection or what post-crossing is and how I enjoy connecting with strangers across the world so that I can know our world better. I know that the world is in really good hands, in all of your hands. And I can only leave our campus knowing that you're all committed to supporting all of the students as much as it's meant to me over the last 10 years. And I thank you for your service, because that's truly what this is, serving the board of directors. I came into this position knowing that I could be of service. It's something I've done since I was a young person, and know how meaningful, even on the hard days, even when you're tired, even when you feel like you don't have another ounce of energy to give, how meaningful it is in a person's life that you can help support someone else to get what they need or they want or they don't know that they even need. And so thank you to all of you for all of your service and for such a great opportunity to work with ASI for the last 10 years. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's move to a vote. All those in favor? Oh, Sachi.
Sorry. I was actually became a detective to find the number of the postcard that she sent and she received. So at the moment while I was drafting the legislation, it was around 4,979, but I'm sure that she crossed over 5,000 during those gap. But Lisa is someone that you can talk about on any topic, like any topic. And she kept talking about those things, even though, no, nothing. But yeah, Lisa, you're a very dear friend of mine. And I don't have my family here, but she's my family here. So thank you for everything.
Okay. All those in favor of 2023-24-08-10 Maria Andrade Dominguez Bolis resolution in support of retirement of Lisa Dalton, please raise your hands. Okay, you can put your hands down. All those opposed, please raise your hands. Okay, seeing none, the item passes unanimously. All right. Well, I hate to finish it off with boring announcements, but again, just to, oh, sorry, go ahead, Tammy.
A reminder, you have the retreat coming up. Vicki and I will be doing a portion, and it sounds a little weird, parliamentary procedure in pajamas. It has become a tradition. Usually it happens in the evening. Y'all are just doing everything wonky this year, starting with letting Lisa go, so, you know.
Tell me about it, Tammy.
But, right? So please, 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 we are serious. We will be there in our pajamas. We want to see you in your pajamas, appropriate pajamas. Yes, but definitely, please, 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 wear your pajamas. We will have fun.
Okay, any other discussion or announcements? Okay, I'll go really quickly. So there will be an Inclusive Excellence survey that's going to be going out. Lisa will send it out today after this meeting. Please complete it by Monday. And then also look out for a bunch of emails coming out soon regarding the retreat. Make sure to be on top of all of those emails. They're going to be asking for a lot of details, and they'll be really important and time sensitive. We have the Dreamers Ally training today. After this meeting at 1 p.m. So you have 1 hour, meet in the boardroom, and we can walk over together to where it's going to be held. And this is a required training as well. On top of that, make sure to start looking at your internal and university committees, and email me about your one internal committee if you haven't already, and email Alec about your university committees. And then your office hours, start thinking about your office hours because they're going to be due very soon. So start thinking about those and emailing them to me once you've decided them. All right, and that's all I have. Natalina.
I just want to emphasize the importance of how busy you are going to be. So set your schedule now, get all that worked out. I know stuff happens along the line, but anything that you can have set and structured already, it's gonna help you so much. Like, everything that you wanna learn about your position, do it now, do it in the summer. It is my biggest tip to you. So I'm in the office all the time, Lisa's in the office all the time. You have questions, I recommend coming now and sorting all that out before, we start the semester. And I want you all to know that, Sachi, Veronica, and I were on the board last year, and if you need any support, any way that you need, please come to us. We've been through the first time being on the board, and it's hard, that transition of going from like a student who was semi-involved to like, you're a board member now on top of a full-time student, and it's a lot. So don't take that pressure by yourself, and know that you can lean on us, and if you need support, like, we're here.
All right, any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.
I have a question about the office hours. When is the deadline for that?
Second week of school. All right, any other announcements? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned at 12:02 p.m.